woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Matthew chapter 24, verse 19 to 22. Shabbat Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Racha Kodash, and double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson. The Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and now I have an article here, another one sounding the alarm. All right, and indicating the times that we're in. All right, and title of the article goes, 86% of Americans feel stressed about the cost of groceries. Okay, and this is all going into basically the collapse of America as a whole. And like Kissinger said, Henry Kissinger, that is a demon, he said, you control the food, you control the people. Okay, and we're at a point in time where we're starting to see, with all these technological advancements, like we always say, all right, Esau and them have been able to find a new way of control. Okay, and I believe through the spirit that Trump is not just setting the tone with all this martial law preparation, with federalizing troops and federalizing the police and sending troops out there and so on and so forth. And he mentioned major different cities, right? About 17 different cities that are potentially on the list to be invaded by the military. Eventually, you will see it. Okay, but not to mention another big thing that's on the minds of the American people / Babylonians, all right, is the cost of groceries, man. All right, this has been going on for years. So I'll say back after pretty much when COVID hit, the whole Corona situation happened. That caused a lot of inflation. Because it was a valid excuse. It was a valid explanation to the American people that because of the borders that were closed and trades and the shutdown of the ports, so we weren't able to unload these cargo and so on and so forth. We had to get the military to come in and go to the West Coast and start helping with the unloading and all these different things, right? It was understandable. The world was at a standstill. It was a shutdown. It was a lockdown. Okay, makes sense. And then after that, all businesses are shutting down. Businesses are closing. So the cost of living is going higher and higher and higher. Okay, gas prices was out the roof. Okay, I remember gas prices went up to like 5 something. And then eventually went down. Right now it's in the 2s. But that's how they do things. Okay, they ramp it up ridiculously high, and then they bring it down, and then now you're comfortable with whatever it is that you probably wouldn't have been comfortable with from the beginning if it didn't have gone that high. All right, so there's a pretty lengthy article here. All right, but it's explaining exactly what's going on here in America. Okay, and we're all witnessing it because we go to the grocery store and we all see the same thing. Only difference is when you actually look at the people who are mostly frustrated, is mostly women. Okay, once again, when reality hits, it affects you women the most. All right, for some reason you don't see men, typically men in their cars screaming, going crazy, unless they're a whole bunch of sodomites, or effeminate. But real men, you're not seeing real men, complain about the price of the grocery store. You're hearing them talk about there's no jobs. All right, women ain't complaining about, my job. They're more about, I'm still going to get assistance, because that's what the system has taught them. That, you can always depend on us. We take care of you. Don't worry about it. If you don't have a job, don't worry. Just apply for some of these assistance, and we'll take care of you. But little did you know that everything now is being set up for your slavery, your captivity. Okay, your digital slavery. Okay, all this stuff. You're going to see Trump is going to turn when the people need him the most. When there's no food, mothers are crying, joining long lines. All right, remember what we just read in Matthew 24. Pray that your flight be not in the winter. Why is that? Why did the Lord say to pray that your flight not be in the wintertime? Because the hardships that's coming is a million times worse when it's freezing cold with ice everywhere and you can't, bro, the wintertime is brutal. Okay? So if you're gonna go or if you're gonna escape something, pray that it doesn't happen in the wintertime because it makes it 10 times worse. Okay? You're cold, you're freezing, you can barely see, there's no food, there's no trees, there's no fruits, vegetables out there that you could just pluck and eat and, help with your survival. Like in the ancient world, you ain't got none of that. You ain't got none of that. Okay? And it's going to be that much harder. No shelter. Come on, bro. Yeah, man. In the wintertime, everything is that much more difficult, man. So, just pray that, if you have to, be on some run out type shit, you're not caught in the wintertime, man. It's not going to be fun, but you know how these devils are. Knowing that it's going to be a disadvantage to people, they're going to purposely start some shit that's going to happen in the wintertime where you have to actually fend for yourself and you're going to need them. All right, it's a pit that they're building. All right, it says, why are social media platforms filled with videos of Americans complaining about grocery prices right now? Needless to say, those videos must be striking a chord because some of them are receiving millions of views because that's millions of people are going through the same thing. And this is, again, it's been going on for years, bro. This has been building for years. Shops been closing down. Stores been closing down. You've seen grocery stores. I mean, these major chain shopping centers or stores, I should say, shutting down and closing down, man. Liquidating. This was prior to CV. We had Toys R Us, Sears. What's the other one? There's another one. RoboShop, not RoboShop, something shop. I forgot. But you had damn, I'm going TOT right now. But yeah, you had all these stores, Kmart, what's the other one? A lot of stores, man. A lot. I just can't think off the top of my head right now. Even they said Macy's was closing down, right? So you got a lot of stores that are shutting down, which is a sign that the economy is tanking. Okay, let's get that real quick. All right, this is all part of the end of this place, man. They deceiving you, thinking that, oh, it's just for a time. We're building back better, and we're gonna make this country great again, and all this extra shit, nigga. Shit, keep believing what they saying and not what we actually going through. That's on you. All right, it's a book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 3 says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right, so the grinders ceasing are those who are pretty much at the helm of the economy in terms of work. Okay, the grinding ceasing is representing the workforce. All right, that's diminishing at the moment. Okay, there's either no jobs or people are just not, you're working but you're not making nothing. Okay, we got they said tourism is going low. You know what I'm saying? We got people that work, even in Vegas, they're saying, yo, people not pulling up like they used to, man. Them gambling machines is like, they dry as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? All you see is these young ass people coming in and, they're so out of touch with the culture that they don't even tip right. You know what I'm saying? But who can blame them? They don't have much to tip. It says verse 4, and it says, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Right, so work is fading. Okay, the opportunities, all right, to go to work are. That's why it says the door shall be shut in the streets. Okay, you're not going to be able to just walk into a store and you have, oh, hey, here's my resume. I like to work at a job. No, ain't no such thing. Okay, jobs are hard to come by. People getting fired left and right. The grinding has ceased. Okay, the grinding has ceased. Even farmers. Okay, farmers are complaining that, they can't even grow their crops. They're also having issues. A lot of farms that could grow their crops, the people that are working on their farms are being so-called deported, arrested. Okay, and you got crops growing and rotten on the farm with no one to cultivate them? What's going on? This is all the signs. This is what we told you about. America's destruction. The Lord will destroy America before he destroys America. Okay? So let's go back to the article here. It says, government bureaucrats are telling us that the cost of food is only going up a few percentage points per year. But we can all see that this is a load of nonsense. A trip to a grocery store has become an enormous expense. And this is especially true if you have kids to feed. Right. Matthew 24. Woe unto you that give suck in those days. Okay, because life is going to be 100 times harder for you. Okay, and this is all going to lead to what Isaiah 4:1. The women are going to need support. They can't do this by themselves. How are you going to be? First, you were working. Everything was fine. Even then, life was hard because you got your emotions and, oh, I'm always alone. And you notice when during the dark days, the dreadful days of summer. Remember back then, we're in August, and the sun is setting at 7:50 something. I remember years ago in August, the sun used to set like at 9:30, around there. You know what I'm saying? Like 9:15. July, you getting 9:40 something. Getting towards the end of August into September, you start seeing like 8 something. You know what I'm saying? School's coming back. Yeah. Back then, this was just a few years ago. Okay, we had actual timeline. Right now in August, what's today? Today is the what? Let me see. Hold on a second. Today's the 15th, August 15th, right? The sun is setting at 7:50 something, 55, 58, around there. So something is crazy. Something is crazy about this whole time right now. I was like, yo, did they do like daylight savings that we didn't know about? The sun is setting like extra hour early now. What's going on? It's like, yo, yesterday the Sabbath came in, right? And normally around again, it's August. So you got till like 8 something. I get home from work. I'm like, yo, the sun is already pretty much down. What time is it? It must be late. I checked the time. It was 7 something. I'm like, wait, time out. How is it 7:20 and the sun is already going down? So I'm like, kind of like thinking about it like a little bit more heavier. But, I just kind of left it alone. But now that I'm talking about it, it's really, it's all prophecy though. The Lord is literally shortening the days. He's literally shortening the days, man. Time is shortening up. It's crazy, but it's exciting. It's exciting. That means that the troubles that are coming are going to be that much more painful. The Lord has to shorten the days, But yeah, you women, man, this is all bringing in Isaiah 4:1. You have your emotions, you have your problems, but now when the situation gets that dire, where you're getting fired, right? You can't hold it together by yourself. A lot of you women, you thought you had it, back in 2019, 2020, you working from home, you got your own car, and you got your own shit going on, So you ain't thinking about, men. And then during that time, the past 5 years, what did you see? OnlyFans, social media, all these different stupid stuff that they got these women thinking, is the way to go. Now it's all coming back to backfire on your ass, man. You're noticing that the men are not really into you like that. Men are finding a way out. And now you say, oh my God, what are we going to do with these men? You got to figure it out, lady. You got to figure it out. I was talking to one of my friends from the world yesterday. He was telling me about some chick that he met just a few months ago, and they've been talking, and it's getting serious or whatever the case may be. I said, damn, it's been months, bro. What you mean it's getting serious? Because these women are desperate. Okay, they're looking for a man. They want some type of companionship, some type of support. Okay, they don't want to be alone in the times that we're in. They see it. All right, they might just act like, oh no, hey, listen. Most of them are being honest on social media, embarrassing themselves, doing videos, screaming and crying on camera for millions of people to watch, hoping that somebody who's gonna feel bad for them and be like, oh, I'll take care of you. Come stay in my house. Some dumb simp. There's a whole bunch of them out there. They all gonna die anyway, and you're gonna be left with the real men. Then what? Now you got to be real. All that fake shit is not gonna fly. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be yourself, true. And a lot of you, when you strip down to being yourself, you ain't shit, and you know it. All right, and it's gonna come back to bite your ass because y'all talk the loudest, y'all talk the most. You're the most noticeable, and it's not for the right thing. So you women are fucked. All right, royally. Okay, and then if you have kids on top of that, shit. uh-huh. It's coming. All right, it's coming. Um, it says, as I wrote about earlier this month, one survey found that in 25% of U.S. households, at least one person is skipping meals so that there will be enough money to pay bills. Right? And some Edomite chick, oh, she looked like an Edomite. She was saying that. She was like, she's so tired. She cursing out the store. I'm so fucking tired of paying so much in my rent and my car note. I have a $600 car note. I'm like, yeah, because you stupid. You stupid. That's why you paying that kind of money. You thought you was that shit. You paying a $600 car note on some Tesla or some dumb shit like that because you want to be the fanciest thing alive. You know what I'm saying? You're not thinking about the long term. I said this like a year or two ago. I said, yo, the way things are going, whatever you got, hold on to it. Maintain it as best as you can because you might not get a chance to swap out like you're planning to do this whole time. The Lord is about to take all your happiness away, all your living, stability away, and you're gonna have to depend only on the Lord. And if you don't got a man that's gonna direct you, yo, Isaiah 4:1 is coming in a big way, and the apostle's been going into it, especially Apostle Hart. He's been bringing it up heavy because, hey, just like he is a prophet, we are prophets. We're seeing it all happening because the Lord is showing it to us. Okay, all the signs are there. All right. Oh man, it's a beautiful thing. It says here, sadly, we are being warned that the cost of groceries will go even higher in the months ahead. So it only gets worse. Okay, your best day was yesterday. All right, just remember that your best day was yesterday. It says, several years ago, I kept warning my readers over and over again that soon the cost of groceries would become very painful. And it wasn't just you, buddy, all of us. We've been warning the whole world. All right. It says, without a doubt, that time has arrived. According to a recent AP poll, the cost of groceries is a source of stress for 86% of U.S. adults. Does your run to the supermarket cause a spike in your blood pressure? You're in good company. Yeah. It says the overwhelming majority of Americans, 86%, say the cost of groceries is at least a minor source of stress. So 86% are already feeling the stress. Now, we all do, but we handle it different because we understand the times we're in. These people, 86% of that sounds like lost people. Majority of the people, 86%. So that's damn near 75. Well, 86%. That's how many people? Oh shit, that's definitely over 200 million Americans. All right, because if you have that's definitely over 200 million. Definitely, because they're saying that the American population last time I checked was in the 300-something million. I believe it's closer to 4. So 86, shit, is going to be definitely in the 300 millions. Okay, that's a lot of people. Okay, it's a lot of people. But it says the number includes 53% who say it's a major source of anxiety in their lives right now. That's according to a new Associated Press North poll. All right, and some of us have jobs that we actually have to deal with people on a daily basis, and you go into homes, and the kind of stories you hear, sometimes you just want to go to work and just be out. There'll be days like that. You don't want to talk to nobody. You just want to go in, knock the jobs out, and just be on your way. You got your own things you're thinking about. And then you hear some of the shit people are saying, and you just look at it and be like, yo, man, you don't strike me as somebody who might be one of us, like as in a hopeful elect, because the way you're talking, you don't even have a sense of awareness of what's going on. Like, you are completely lost. And you know what? I'm not going to be the one to give you the whole truth right here. I got to work. I got a job to do. Okay? But certain people that you meet in the spirit, they got a sincere spirit to them. They know something ain't right. They kind of hinting at it, but they're not really putting their hand on it because they don't know exactly what it is. They just know something ain't right. So through conversation, you might drop a few nuggets here and there just to see how they react to it. And they pick up on it. Next thing you know, you breaking down scriptures and giving them a more complete understanding of the times that we're in and how they can prepare for it. A little bit, and say, hey, listen, your only way out is the Lord. You keep your trust in the Lord, you're going to be all right. And you leave it at that. If they inquire more, that's a different story. See, but most people, I'm not going to press too much, because the knowledge of the Lord that we have that keeps us stable, to me personally, that's everything for me. That's my gold, that's my money, that's my food, that's my resource, that's my everything. So it's like, I'm not trying to share that everything with everyone that I see. Nah, you got to be special for me to even let you in on my secrets, which is the Lord's words that he's given to us, the knowledge that we have, the understanding that we have, the stability that we have. Yo, you've seen all this stuff going on. You see house burning, streets blocked off, all these different things. But guess what? You're going about your day like every other day. You make slight adjustments here and there, but for the most part, it's the same. Why? Because you have an expectation. Things are going to get much worse. This is nothing. So in your mind, you're prepared. It doesn't matter how bad it gets to you. It gets worse than this. It gets worse than this. And people are like, no, how worse can it be? It's so bad right now. I can't do nothing, bro. You mean to tell me it's going to get worse? Well, the Lord put Trump in power for a reason. So yes, it's definitely going to get worse. All right. So continue. It says, those are very alarming numbers, but this is the world that we live in now. That's the reality. Okay. And this is why we are seeing so many videos on social media about grocery prices. Someone put together a compilation of some of the best videos where people are really flipping out emotionally, and it's mostly women. Okay. In my entire life, I have never seen it so bad. At one grocery store in Chicago, one woman admitted that it feels like you're spending your soul on groceries. Guess what? Guess what? You're going to have to eventually when the MOTB comes out, because this is all leading to that. Everything you're seeing around the world leads to that. Whether it be in the medical field, whether it be in the travel industry, whether it be in the restaurant industry, whether it be, your regular groceries, your regular daily activities, the government, whatever. Everything leads to the MOTB. And when the time comes and you're joining a long line to go to the government building for a little bit of food and water for you and your children, you're going to have to identify yourself, because no ID, no food. Okay? You have to identify yourself. And the new form of identification will be a form of pledging required by the government. Every man, woman, and child will be required by law to take that tag, that print, that mark. And if you don't take it, there will be nothing. They don't even know you. They don't care to know you. That's how bad things are going to be. So indeed, you will be spending your soul on a little bit of food. Okay? It says, at a South Loop grocery store, customers experience sticker shock and frustration. No matter if it's organic or if it's regular, it's still going to be an arm and a leg for it. It's like you're spending your soul on groceries, said shopper Tria Hudson. This is one of the reasons why I get so frustrated when talking heads on television, when the talking heads on television are telling us that everything is fine. Just look around you. People are hurting. Some companies are trying to hide their price hikes by keeping the prices the same, but putting less stuff in each package. This is known as shrinkflation, and Jim Quinn recently shared a personal anecdote from his own life. It says, I think a personal anecdote I've experienced will show you the devious methods corporations will use to pass these tariffs along. I have been buying a pack of coated paper plates at Walmart for years. The pack contains 70 paper plates. Within the last 4 months, the pack was reduced to 50 plates for the same price. They know the average adult, after years of government schooling, is deficient in math skills, so they would not realize they just experienced a 40% increase in price per plate. This will show up nowhere in the fake BLS numbers. Shrinkflation is just as bad as inflation, but they can hide it and pretend all is well while maintaining their profits. Okay? I'm sure that you're running into the same thing. Unfortunately, this is just the beginning, right? It's the beginning of sorrows. Okay? How can I be so confident in saying that? Let me give you just one example. Approximately 2/3 of US adults drink coffee, and approximately 1/3 of all the coffee we drink comes from Brazil. Thanks to the 50% tariff that was just placed on imports from Brazil, coffee is about to become a lot more expensive. That means the everyday morning Starbucks going, coffee drinking ass niggas, you finna take the hit on that. Okay? Everyday Dunkin' Donuts, you finna take a hit on that. Right? Everyday McDonald's coffee, well, if that is real coffee, that is, you finna take a hit on that. So if you're a coffee drinker, and a lot of these corporate American people, they drive the nicest cars, they wear the suit and tie, and then they stand in line thinking they're cool, tapping on their phones, making calls, making it seem like they're so big important, and they can't even stand in the store for 1 minute without being on their phone, right? Yeah, them dudes, you're gonna stand there and they'll be like, yeah, by the way, the coffee prices are going up. You're gonna start seeing the signs. They're not even gonna bother to even verbalize it to you. They just post it right there in the door. You walk in, expect a 50% hike in your coffee every morning. People gonna do it, you know? And there's going to be less and less people in the streets, in the stores, which is going to cause a lot of these stores to go down and under because your customer base are non-existent. You know, it's shrinking. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to go across the spectrum with everything, man. Everything. Okay, everything. It says thanks to the uh, thanks to the 50% tariff that was just placed on the imports from Brazil, coffee is about to become a lot more expensive, just like everything else. The U.S. relies heavily on Brazil to import coffee for the 165 million people who need their daily caffeine fix. That's a lot of people. But Trump's 50% tariff threatens the long-term availability and price of the drink. Now, you may say, why the hell is Trump putting tariffs on shit that Americans need? Because what they need, those who put Trump in, those are the day I'm talking about, what they need is to break down this system. The best way to go about it is to tell you that, listen, we're transitioning to make America great again. But the transition period is going to hurt you. It's going to be painful. It's going to be tough. But this is what we need in order to bring America out of what it's always been in, which is the shit and the stress you've been through. But then you'd be like, wait, time out. We ain't asked for all these changes, though. Everything was fine before. Leave it alone. Well, you don't get a choice in that. Because the only choice you have, you spent it on voting, believing that that's going to bring change. And your stupid ass is not caught up in the worst time ever in American history because you voted for the worst person, the last Trump. He might very much be the last president of America, the last Trump. Okay, but we'll see. So continuing, it says, when people go to their local coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks or something else, by and large, they will likely be buying some form of Brazilian coffee. Monica De Boll, senior fellow at the Peterson's Institute for International Economics, told NPR. A 50% tariff will kill the market. I still remember the days when you could get a cup of coffee for 10 cents. What did your latest cup of coffee cost you? We don't buy coffee from outside, so I wouldn't know, but it be like that, For those who drink coffee, you may know. It says, of course, everything else is becoming more expensive too, and our cost of living crisis never seems to end. See, and something I was thinking about the other day too, how much of a devil Esau really is, right? And we know that, but like sometimes certain things hit you different. You'd be like, yo, damn, bro. I was driving through the streets and I'm like, yo, I haven't seen a single fruit tree planted anywhere. Like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And I was thinking to myself, I said, yo, these devils, they want to monetize everything, bro. You go to different countries and as you walk in, you could pluck up an apple or orange or mango or pineapple or coconut or whatever and eat and drink and be out on your way, get some energy, But here, if you want an apple, you gotta go to the grocery store and buy some shit that's been messed with. It's traveled miles and miles and miles for days and weeks to finally get to a grocery store. And it sits in the back, sits in the back, sits in the back until the ones that have been sitting there for weeks are gone. And then they come and replenish it. I'm like, how does Apple stay fresh this long? And then by the time it gets into your house, 2-3 days later, it starts going bad. You'd be like, I just bought this. How is it going bad so fast? Because it's been sitting there for so long. By the time you got your hands on it, when they put the Best Buy date on it, don't go by that. Okay, don't go by that. Because if you, let's say it says Best Buy August 11th. Shit, I try to get one that's like a little before August 11th. You see what I'm saying? Or if they say August 11th, you try to get something that's after August 11th, I should say. Okay? Because the closer you are to that Best Buy date, the worse it is. Okay? The closer you are in the sense of if it's, let me find a better way to explain this. Maybe I shouldn't have used this example, but I'll still follow through with it. Let's say you try to get some, cheese, right? And it's on the label, it says expires, August 11th, right? And you're buying the cheese on August 5th, right? You might want to get a cheese that's like dated September instead of August, because why has it been so long? Why you been sitting on the shelf for so long that I'm buying you a few days before your expiration date? Why are you here? You shouldn't even be here, bro. That's the mindset. You shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be seeing no shit that's going to expire within the same month or a month after that. It should be like a few months in advance. A few months in advance before you could get that expiration. But the system is made in such a way that everything is more of a, what they call it, almost like a per day service. Like every day something is off the shelf and it has to be replaced. Them days are fast. They're declining, man. Things are sitting on the shelf longer because nobody wants them. Or there's nothing there at all because everybody needs them. So it says, of course, everything else is becoming more expensive too, and our cost of living crisis never seems to end. As a result, speaking of cost of living, they said an average home about 20, 30 years ago, somebody said 10 years, but I think it's a little bit more than that. What you're seeing now on the market for $700,000 homes, 10 years ago was, you began that for about 100 to 200 something $1,000. Just think about the difference. The same house 10, 15, 20 years ago, you'd be buying for 200 something thousand. You're getting it for 700 something $1,000. Okay. So, people are just not going to be able to make it out, man. And this is America. This was supposed to be the greatest country on earth. And in less than a year, you've seen people feeling the results that much faster. Okay? We told you when Trump first came in, the first week, this nigga signed mad executive orders, over 100 of them. And it kept going on and on and on till today. And we said he's doing that in preparation for the months ahead. And now here we are. It says, as a result, 62% of Gen Z Americans have no emergency savings at all. That's tough. 62% of Gen Z have no emergency savings, nearly double the rate of baby boomers. 51% of Americans would use a credit card for a $500 emergency, with usage jumping to 70% among students. 2/3 of consumers have 6 months or less in savings, with Gen X the least prepared. 76% lack a credit card set aside for emergencies, relying instead on everyday use cards. Most of the country is living on the edge financially. The middle class is steadily shrinking, and those that remain in the middle class have much less discretionary income that they once did. So restaurants all over the nation find themselves torn between rapidly rising costs and customers that now have a lot less money to spend. Ike's Chili in Tulsa, Oklahoma, has been around for 117 years, surviving a myriad of challenges like the Great Depression, the COVID-19 pandemic, and a once-in-a-generation burst of inflation. But 2025 already holds an even more complicated challenge. Quote, the cost of living, the cost of everything is just going up, and we've got to figure out how to manage it right, Len Wade, a managing partner at the restaurant, told CNN. He pointed to surging beef prices as an example, specifically hamburger meat on the wholesale level. In July, those prices were up nearly 21% compared to the same month 10 years ago. Federal data shows, and passing the buck to customers might not be the best solution, Wade said. And it's true because, there's this spot not too far from where I live. They make some pretty damn good burgers, I must say. But the damn burger is like $27 per burger. And I mean, the shit is good, but like, damn, not $20 good, you know? But you get in there and you look at the menu and you be like, what does this come with? Is this like a whole meal or is this like a piece of meat? And like, what is this $20 shit that you're selling to me? You know? So, hey, you try it out, you bite the bullet and the shit is good as fuck. You think, oh, damn, man, I might need another one, but I'm not trying to spend $40 on burgers, man. Shit, I could spend $40 and buy me a few things. I could make some food for like a couple days, buy some ingredients and shit. Hey, it could last me a few days of cooking. I'll make a meal that could last me 2-3 days, rather than spending $40 on 2 burgers that's going to last me 30 minutes. Shit, so you gotta weigh out all those options, right? But it's just an example that, that's real life. Food is expensive as hell, especially when you go out to eat. Yeah, right now is not the time for that. All right, right now probably wouldn't be the best time for that. If you have to do what you gotta do, that's fine, but probably wouldn't be the best time to be doing that. All right, so continue. It says, tourist destinations from coast to coast are experiencing the same thing. Nobody wants to come to America? Shit. Las Vegas is getting far less tourist traffic than it once did, and those that do arrive are tipping a lot less. Las Vegas servers say they're feeling the heat as high prices and declining tourism hammer their tip earnings across the strip, right? Because you could do gambling on your phone now, so nobody really has to go to a casino to be doing all that gambling shit no more. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna see a lot of casinos also close down. Damn, it's crazy. Beautiful, beautiful. It says tipping in Sin City, right? Sin City, right? Is reportedly down by as much as 50% among servers, as some of them blame the economy and policy, while others point to high prices, a tipping backlash, and poor service. On Reddit's Vegas Locals forum, one cocktail waitress wrote, "I used to average about 80 cents a drink. Now I'm averaging about 10 cents. Damn. Wow. Nobody can deny what is happening. We really are experiencing a very serious economic crisis. Sticking your head in the sand and pretending that everything is okay is not going to fix anything. Our standard of living really is collapsing, and a lot more pain is ahead as our economic bubbles continue to burst. We were warned that this storm was coming for a long time, and now it is here." Okay? Now it is here, man. And this is all from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? The great power, the sovereign God, the one who's bringing the judgment upon this place for all the wickedness that's been done here. And you people fail to acknowledge his power? Shit, he's going to intensify the pain. I guarantee you that. All right, he's going to intensify the pain. All right, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 47, verse 7. Actually, let's start off at, let's go up a little bit. All right. There's a book of Isaiah chapter 47. And let's start off at verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Okay, and that's what you're seeing now. The system itself is no longer working. Okay, it's collapsing. It's failing on the people. All right, and the people are suffering for it. It says, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks and make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers." Okay, so basically strip you bare, right? Making you uncover yourself in a public view. We're seeing you for who you are, a shameful whore. Okay, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Okay, and that's when Yahushua comes back. There'll be no pity. Okay, I will meet you as a man. A man will have pity. A man will feel sorry for you. But this man that's coming, Yahushua, he's not about feeling sorry for you. He's about completing the mission. Okay, finishing what he started 2,000 plus years ago. Okay, it says, as for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. And darkness really, is going to happen physically as well. Okay, they were saying that there's a huge Chinese threat of a blackout. I said, yeah, that's a nice way to explain it off, but we know it's all inside jobs, right? It's all inside jobs. But there's going to be darkness here as well, right? Not just a dark time, but actually a physical, literal dark time. Okay. It says, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Okay, the queen of kingdoms, the one that was basically looked up to, okay, and worshipped, adored. All right. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst shew them no mercy, and they about to show you even more no mercy with all this Trump is tired of you people type shit. But who they going after? You Jakes. Okay? Especially you I'm gonna run my mouth and say whatever the fuck I want to say, Jakes. They coming for you niggas. Okay? They coming for you niggas. Alright, you wanna run your mouth and say all kinds of stupid shit and I know what you're talking about? They're coming for you niggas, man. Alright? It says, thou didst shew them no mercy, upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Okay? So you didn't pay attention to the consequences of your actions. Okay? Everything that America has believed in, stood upon, acted upon, okay, created, it's all coming back to bite you in the ass. And you people that celebrated it, enjoyed it, lived off of it, now it's time for the Lord to collect. Okay? It's time for the Lord to collect. All right? And you ain't got nothing to give. It's going to be your life that you're going to have to give. Okay? It's going to be your life. But yeah, man, hard times are not coming. Hard times are here. Okay? The hard times are not coming. The hard times are already here. All right? So if you look forward to hard times, well, the only thing you can expect is harder and hardest times. All right? But the hard times are definitely here. Okay? It's only going to get harder and ultimately hardest. All right? But anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.
Are the foods modified? Tomato, potato, asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, almost all the basics are purposely. And as you know, they have a terminator seed now, too.
Yes.
Because the farmers can't plant seeds, you can't plant seeds now unless you buy it from the government. They come up one season, and they're gone. With these, they're already modified. Watermelons now here with seedless watermelons. I wouldn't even touch a watermelon with no seeds out. But if you breathe, what are you going to breathe? You can't call it air anymore. We breathe something that is overtaxing our body with toxins that we're trying to get through the day on. We have chemical sprays being sprayed over 245 major cities in the United States, and all over our planet now is an electronic metal smog. And I can tell you why that's done too. We have these Gwen towers that they have erected, which are also perpetrating that continuous thing. We have HAARP programs, High Frequency Active Aurora Research Project. We have ELATA over in Russia, Electrified Atmospheric Discharge. We have ISACAP, European Scattered Radar manipulation. All these things are broadcasting billions, I didn't say millions, combined billions of watts of amperage of ionic electrified air particles into the air. We are breathing now titanium, aluminum, barium, non-human T cells, all kind of other things that's being sprayed from ships that are supposed to be there. So you have metal particulation in your system. You have electrified air, which is poisonous in your system. And then whatever else of these smokestacks and the exhaust from cars are there too. Unless you can clean that out, your body's not only going to age very quickly, the cells are going to deteriorate, and you're not going to function on the heights you should be. That's why most people are running around I call them comatose, dumbed down, brainwashed, vaccinated, inoculated, and encrypted. Any two of which makes you unusable to a society that's trying to develop.
Heard those names before. But encrypted is?
Chipped. You go to the wrong, shouldn't say this on TV, let's put it away, wrong lab that's making the prosthetic device, whether it be from your teeth or leg, they probably put a chip in it, unless you're very careful. The food you eat is probably encrypted. If you have any vaccinated, you are encrypted. If you're in armed services, you're encrypted. They're trying to control a whole populace, and this is the best way to do it. Anytime anybody invades underneath your skin, 9 times out of 10 now you're encrypted. If you're not encrypted, you're probably mind controlled. There's so much going on now, Doc. I sound like I am psychotic. I'm not. And I'll never say I'm crazy. I'm not. I'm neurotic. My neurosis grows with the psychotic behavior of people and the apathy of people, the ennui of people who don't seem to understand what's going on. That's frightening to me. Because we're a planet trying to come under control. We're a populace, black and white, brown and yellow, that is under mind control, dying right off the bat, being experimented with, and we still don't get it. Those who have been dumbed down, comatose, brainwashed, inoculated, vaccinated, encrypted, any two of which takes them out of a usable society at this time, can't understand that. So they will fight the masters' wars, they will fight the globalist wars, they will take the globalist shots, they will let the globalists in the state raise their children, and we all sink. But the point is, again, the globalists are on their way out. That's why they're acting so crazy, but you watch my words. Their time is short.